As we do every week, it's time to speak to the author of international bestsellers, The War on the West, A Strange Death of Europe, Bloody Sunday, and The Madness of Crowds. Douglas Murray, let's talk actions and consequences. There are a lot of Democrats who are finding out the hard way the supposedly compassionate, feel-good policies they champion have some devastating consequences. Let's start with New York Mayor Eric Adams, who a month before his election was saying, we should protect our immigrants, period. Yes, New York City will remain a sanctuary city under the Adams administration. This is what he's saying now.
This issue will destroy New York City. Destroy New York City. We're getting 10,000 migrants a month. One time we were just getting Venezuela. Now we're getting Ecuador. Now we're getting Russian-speaking coming through Mexico. Now we're getting Western Africa. Now we're getting people from all over the globe have made their minds up that they're going to come through the southern part of the border and come into New York City. And everyone is saying it's New York City's problem. Every community in this city is going to be impacted. We got a $12 billion deficit that we're going to have to cut every service in this city.
Douglas, he went on there to say that they were going to lose their city. Do you think he's finally worked out that the policies he pushed may have something to do with this mess?
It's an extraordinary explosion from Mayor Adams because, as you rightly say, Rita, he's pushed precisely the policies that have led to this. Mayor Adams has actually been on the relatively more hawkish end of his party on relation to immigration. Yet, as you said, he himself has constantly said that New York should be a sanctuary city. And all that the southern governors are doing by sending migrants to New York, and relatively small numbers compared to the numbers coming into Texas and Arizona each day, all they're doing is following through on what Mayor Adams himself said, which is that New York must be a sanctuary city, a city for anyone fleeing from anywhere in the world who wants to settle and have a right to be housed. Well, you know, it's quite interesting, isn't it, that if it is such a doomsday scenario that New York is now in, as Mayor Adams is now saying, I don't understand why he doesn't like the season finale of a series that he's been working on, along with his Democrat colleagues in New York for years.
Oh, it's, like you said, it is extraordinary because he's still pushing policies that are going to see more illegal immigrants flood across the border, like suggesting that they be allowed to work straight away. Of course, that's going to be a pull factor. And the Biden administration and the border czar Kamala Harris, who have been uniquely hopeless in addressing this crisis, and we're talking about record numbers coming through at the moment. It is astonishing numbers, more than 2 million annually. But the LA Times reports they're considering a plan to force illegal immigrants to remain in Texas while awaiting their asylum screenings. Douglas, I'm pretty sure Texans didn't vote for these open border policies. New Yorkers did. Why should Texans have to deal with the fallout? Exactly.
The whole issue of immigration in recent years has become what the young writer Rob Henderson has described as a luxury belief. The people in Palo Alto, and San Francisco and New York can vote for sanctuary city policies and much more because they think it doesn't affect them. They think it only affects the border communities. But the moment it comes to them, they realize how fast reality can come at you. But this is a luxury belief these people have been pushing around in recent years. They want to show how noble they are, how great they are, how uniquely virtuous they are. Off with products anymore, they show off with policies and with compassion. But the result is the same. If you don't have a border, you don't have a state. You can choose whether you have a taxation system which rewards the people who've paid into it, or a taxation system that rewards people who arrived yesterday and have never paid into it. You can do one or the other. And it's very interesting seeing these people who thought otherwise.
Now let's go to the UK, where Tory MPs are threatening to revolt as Rishi Sunak pushes an energy bill that could see property owners face prison if they fail to comply with new energy efficiency rules to achieve their net zero dreams. They are pushing, Douglas, a proposal where people who fall foul of these regulations to reduce energy consumption could face massive fines of up to £15,000 plus up to a year in prison. What is wrong with Tory prime ministers nowadays? I mean, can you imagine Thatcher contemplating something like this? She would be turning in her grave, and she ain't one for turning.
Absolutely. No, she would. The very interesting thing, by the way, Rita, I mean, there's massive news which we've missed out on, actually, which we should not acknowledge, which is that Theresa May, the former Prime Minister of the UK, has just released a book. I don't know. Maybe you missed it.
Great.
But one of the things,
I did.
one of the things that Theresa May, who's a couple of prime ministers ago, we re-rotate them every few weeks in Britain these days, as you know. Some prime ministers back, Theresa May has just released a book justifying her record in office, and she said one of the proudest things she did was to impose a commitment to net zero on the way out of office. That is, in the dwindling days when she knew she was going out without any democratic mandate, she made her successors commit to the net zero policy. She says in her new book that she's incredibly proud of this. This is one of her proudest achievements. Well, here we see again the actual legacies of such an achievement. You have to do totally unworkable things. You have to try to manhandle the public into policies they don't want, they don't like, and eventually you've got to threaten the public. This is no way to exercise democracy. You know, we're meant to have a say in this. It's not our overlords just dictating things to us or threatening us with prison. That's not the way it works. It never was, and it shouldn't be now.